Welcome back to City Insider. This is a YouTube channel for news, stories, and analysis surrounding Manchester City Football Club. I will update new video every day. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications to support me. Pundit says Man City don't fancy 21-year-old player. Pundit Steve Nicol has suggested that Manchester City have decided to sell Cole Palmer because they don't rate his ability. It was reported yesterday that the Manchester club had agreed a deal with Chelsea to sell the winger to the West London club for a fee of around £40 million to £45 million. This has now led to one pundit having his say on this reported piece of transfer business. Speaking in a recent video on the ESPN FC YouTube channel, Nicol had this to say about why City could be allowing Palmer to leave. He said, "They don't fancy him. They've just let Riyad Mahrez go. So if you're Palmer, you're thinking, wow, they've let Mahrez go. That means there's an opportunity here for me. But then, if you're the club and you've let Mahrez go, you're thinking, this guy's not good enough to fill his boots. So we're going to have to bring in somebody else, which means he's going to have to go." Manchester City centre-back eyed for last-minute summer exit following refusals to meet asking price. Taylor Harwood-Bellis could find himself subject to another loan move this summer, following a number of refusals from interested parties to meet his asking price. The 21-year-old Manchester City Academy graduate is widely seen as one of the brightest prospects in his position in the Premier League at present. However, the ongoing summer transfer window has proved to be challenging, building on from a hugely successful campaign under Vincent Kompany at Burnley last season, starring in a defence that played an integral role in hitting 100 points in a single championship campaign. The next phase of his development was expected to be seamless. However, Manchester City's valuation has meant that the player has struggled to see any progress with regards to permanent deals in the Premier League, and now could be headed back into the Championship for another campaign. According to the information of journalist Alan Nixon, Manchester City are now ready to let Taylor Harwood-Bellis leave the club on loan in the remaining hours of the summer transfer window, after failing to find the central defender a buyer at their £15 million valuation. It is claimed that Southampton have now joined the pack of championship clubs who have been waiting on such a development, while a return to Burnley could also be on the agenda following his successful spell at Turf Moor last campaign. Leicester City and Leeds United are also tipped as potential candidates for Harwood-Bellis' signature on a loan agreement, while Nixon details the clubs who believed Manchester City's asking price was too much in recent weeks. All of Burnley, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Wolves and West Ham all turned away from interest in the defender, having been made aware of the Premier League champions' asking price, according to Nixon's report. EFL confirms Carabao Cup draw era involving Newcastle United Manchester City. Newcastle will host treble-winning Manchester City at St James Park on the week of September 25th. City have won the Carabao Cup in 6 of the last 10 seasons and will be looking to end a 3-year drought this campaign. The Magpies were incorrectly allocated ball number 20 for the draw. Ball numbers are allocated in alphabetical order with the exception of ties that were yet to be concluded when the numbers were allocated, but Newcastle were listed behind Championship side Norwich City, who were allocated ball 19. Had the balls been allocated correctly in alphabetical order as intended, the Magpies would have been ball 19 and the Canaries ball 20. That would have seen Norwich host Man City, while Newcastle would face a trip to fellow Premier League side Fulham. Paul Merson says Man City have done something absolutely ridiculous. Pundit Paul Merson has said that he can't believe Manchester City have made a transfer move for Nunes. It has been a busy past day or so for the Manchester club, as they not only agreed a £53 million deal to sign Nunes from Wolves, but they also agreed a deal to sell Cole Palmer to Chelsea for a fee in the region of £40 to £45 million. This has now led to one pundit having his say on these two proposed deals, written in his latest column for Sportskida. Merson had this to say about City's move for Nunes. He said, "I think shelling out €63 million, £53 million for Nunes is silly. I've watched Nunes a lot of times and I really feel like he is eye candy. He can beat 3 or 4 players, but there's no end product. So I really don't understand selling Palmer and bringing in Nunes." After making 101 senior appearances for Sporting CP, where he scored 8 goals and delivered 9 assists, the 25-year-old joined Wolves last summer in a deal worth £38 million. His debut season in the Premier League saw Nunes score just 1 goal and provide just 1 assist in 34 appearances. So while this lack of goal contributions may back up Merson's point about the midfielder's insufficient end product, Nunes showed in other areas of his game what he'd be able to offer Pep Guardiola's side. For example, the Portuguese international ended the previous league campaign with the third highest combined total of tackles and interceptions, 83, at Wolves, showing how effective he can be off the ball, in addition to the versatility he has in being able to play in multiple midfield roles. Moving forward, if Nunes can hit the ground running at the Etihad Stadium and Guardiola can find a suitable role for him in the side, he'll have a great chance of proving Merson, or any other doubters, wrong about the proposed move. Agent of unbelievable Man City player rules out Etihad Stadium exit. Oscar Bobb's agent has shared some behind-the-scenes details on how Manchester City view the youngster. Last month, it was reported that the 20-year-old has attracted some transfer interest from clubs such as Brighton Hove Albion, Benfica, and Sporting CP. Now though, some fresh comments have been made from one figure close to the youngster about his immediate future. Speaking to VG, Steve Howson, Bobb's agent, had this to say about his client and his current situation at the Manchester club. He said, "There'll always be clubs interested in quality young players from Manchester City. But City have a plan with Oscar. They really like him, and this season they want to see him develop around the first team." Having made 114 appearances for City's youth ranks, scoring 31 goals and delivering 33 assists along the way, the youngster has started to get in and around the senior squad this season. Specifically, the youngster has been a part of Pep Guardiola's squad for 2 of their 3 Premier League games in this campaign against Newcastle United and Sheffield United. Back in July during City's pre-season tour of Asia, Guardiola said that Bobb put in an unbelievable performance in their 5-3 win over Yokohama F. Marinos, which could be why the Norwegian has found himself in the senior squad recently. Now that Bobb's agent has dismissed any possibility of the midfielder leaving City this summer and sharing how much the club admire him, it'll be interesting to see how much game time he gets this season and if he's able to convince Guardiola he has what it takes to be a top player for them. And that's the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to support me.